Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I just wanted to give you a bit of a flip through of where I'm at because I've been up since I think it was 3:15 in the morning. I was awake and out of bed. So I started working in the journal, just sort of doing some embellishing. I haven't finished it all and I sort of need to sort of go from start to finish right through the journal and see where I'm at just to put the final touches on. So yeah, it was a crazy night. For some reason, I just woke up and I was ready to go. So I started. What I did do is I have attached the journal to the bottom. I've glued this panel in. It has sat for half an hour, dried, and it's really strong. So I'm really happy with that. So it looks like it's actually stitched on there, but it's not. It's just glued. So then the journal opens up. We've got our box ready for whatever treasures may be placed inside. Then as the journal opens, we are greeted with lots of fun things to play with. So I know I need to embellish this. So when we get through to the end with the flip through, we'll come back to this little guy and do a little bit of work in that. So I've done all my stitching. I've put into this front pocket a Rachel tag and some journal cards. They're backed and stitched, and then we've got our little envelope. Now I did go and print the prompts and I reduced them by 75%. Now if you're looking for these prompts, if you go to Rachel's channel and type in daily journal, you'll find the video she did in 2020 for a daily journal, and she created these prompts. She printed them on vellum. So I've just printed them on some dyed paper. I'm just going to cut them down into a couple sections and I'm going to slide them into, where is it, that envelope. So if the lady getting this is so inclined, she could use those to get us started. If she's not and wants to just go her own way, that's fine too. They're not through the journal, so they're sort of there as a bit of a helping hand. Now, I've stitched around the journal card, backed it, stitched it, so that's in there. I then just did a little bit of embellishing. So that little guy, I stitched around the two of them, made sure they were the same size, and then glued them on. So it looks like they're stitched together, but they're not actually. That's a little tab I've added just with some lace folded over onto some calico. I've stitched the lace on and then attached the tag. Little pull out here. You saw me put that fabric on there. I just added that little embellishment from the Dreamzetc artwork, and of course the little girl on the inside. I love how we've got these vintage elements through the whole journal. They're just beautiful. That was a little piece of paper that I stitched into the signature. I added a little bit of red paper, a stamp, a little bit of cheesecloth just to add a little bit of fabric-y feel through the piece. A couple more journal cards all stitched and ready. Just popped a little bit of embellishment down there. Little Santa. I love how that came together. Looks like he's peeking through the music paper, so that was perfect. I added a little label down here. I just felt like it complemented the page. Now I created a gold paper clip with a little bit of lace and some eyelash yarn, and then this is like a tuck here, and then it also folds out to reveal another tuck in behind. So it's sort of like a little spot that's held together by the paper clip. Another little tab here, just some embellishments down here on this page, little Santa there. This is the center of the signature. I ended up folding that in, putting a little bit of paper there, and this is a little letter that I've written to the lady getting the journal, just wishing her a Merry Christmas, and I guess a little bit of information about what to do with a journal and encouragement. So just a little something. I will pop her gift in there from Grace, a gift of Grace. So I believe I've got for this family a seed package where the farmer gets all sorts of seeds and some tools. They're ex-farmers that have retired. So I thought that was a nice gift, especially for the hubby. That can go in there, and she can have the journal to play with. So that will be tucked in amongst there. Now, just a little bit of embellishment as we sort of flip through a couple more journal cards. There's plenty of space to play yet, and depending on what she sort of wants to do, that's a folding tag that's just swinging over the top of there. There was a half piece of dyed paper, and I've glued on top this vintage dictionary page. A little bit of red paper on the back, just a little bit of collaging. That sort of shows her how she can add additional pages. It hasn't got too thick, which I'm really pleased. There's plenty of little spots where she can still write and add some photos and things like that. So the journals come together really well. Now, I do want to add that into there and then into the back of there. Now, this little guy. Now, I believe we still have some little spots to pop in some bits and pieces. So I'm going to just move this out of the way. So I'll have a quick little flip through here. I did one little piece and I thought, oh, I might turn on the camera. The daylight is here. The morning is here. So I'm just going to finish off with a few little bits and bobs for these pockets. Then I'll just go through the ephemera that I've got left and just add a few little decorator pieces in as well. Just to give her, I should have done that on the glue book. I've now put glue all over that paper. Oh, I can't believe I woke up at that ungodly hour. I know what did it. My husband and I have been on a bit of a health kick for about 3 months. And we're pretty much just eating fruit, veggies, and meat. Just simple cooking. Like, enough is enough. We have been in the good pastures, as they would say, for 50 years. So it is time to clean up our wicked ways. So we just made a conscious decision that if we want a healthy existence for the rest of our days, we need to just stop and be good. So we have been very, very good. But my husband decided to buy some chocolate last time we were at the grocery store. And he had seen on YouTube somewhere that carob chocolate, you know, the pure chocolate, was really good for you. So he thought, great. I think one of our staff mentioned it too and said that he really enjoys it. So my husband thought, wow, great, I can have some chocolate again. So he's come home with this block of chocolate. And as soon as I saw it, I knew what was going to happen because I've tried it myself a long time ago. But he was convinced that this was going to be the answer to his dreams. Trying to tear this. I just want a hint of red down there. Yeah, so it was so funny. He's got this chocolate. It was Lindt. I think it's 75% carob chocolate or whatever the word is. Anyway, he's brandishing it around the kitchen. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks good. Yes, yes. And I sort of knew what was coming, as I mentioned a few seconds ago. So anyway, we have our dinner, have our veggies, and sure enough, he trots off to the pantry, comes back with this block of chocolate. And I'm just looking for some words that I can put in there. This one will do. Yeah, so he comes back swinging this block of chocolate in the air and breaks a piece off. And he says to me, would you like some? So proud. I'm like, no, not at the moment. Maybe later. So he's got himself a little chunk of this chocolate, popped it in his mouth. You should have seen his face. Well, his nose screwed up, his tongue was hanging out, he spat this chocolate out. He was just horrified. He could not believe that it tasted the way it did. And of course, I'm sure you all know what it tastes like. It's got like that bitter taste because it just doesn't have the sugar in it. It's nearly pure chocolate, very little sugar, which is the whole reason that it's a good option if you did want to, you know, be good. Anyway, oh, it was so funny. It was so funny. So he's like, you sure you don't want any? I'm like, no, I know exactly what that stuff's like. I'm not interested. And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, sorry, mate, but it is just not good. I'm just looking for something to go in there that I haven't used yet. Yeah, so I thought it was hilarious. He was so disappointed. His face, priceless. I'll put that big one in there. So anyway, a week or so later, I was at the grocery stores and I was in the queue and I spotted the chocolate beside me and I thought, oh, I should get us a block of chocolate. I don't know what's happened to the sizes of chocolate, but gee, it was a small block. But anyway, I bought it. And I didn't tell him it was in the cupboard. I kept it as a surprise. So last night after dinner, I said, how would you like some chocolate? And he's like, oh, not that horrible stuff. And I said, no, that's left the building. I've got some normal chocolate. Oh, he goes, yes, please. And I said, well, I bought it today. And I also bought this new big gingerbread reindeer head that Woolworths had. They put it in the veggie department. Like, seriously, our rule at the moment is we can eat things from around the perimeter of the grocery store. Anything in the aisles really is not good. So we're trying very hard just to walk around the outside of all of the aisles. So it's everything fresh, basically. Anyway, I spotted in amongst the vegetables, like, what's a girl to do when there's Christmas goodies starting to pop up in the veggie department? Like, they really know how to get you, don't they? Anyway, I come out of there with a block of chocolate and this reindeer head gingerbread. And I thought, I'll pop them in the cupboard for a treat. They've been so good. And he was so disappointed with his little chocolate thing that happened. So out comes a block of Cadbury chocolate. Yum, yum. We're into it. No hole in his back. And I knew we should have just had a little row each and it would have lasted. We could have made it last a week or even a month, just a little bit each week. But no, it tasted so good. Oh, we ate the whole thing. And I had in the lounge room the gingerbread biscuit reindeer, and it was sitting there looking at us, and I showed it to my husband and I said, oh, look, see, I also bought this. And he's like, oh, that's pretty cute. And I'm like, yeah, it's lovely. And dead set, I said, let's eat it. So we ate the block of chocolate and the gingerbread character in one sitting. The whole lot gone. So I believe that behaviour has led to the fact that I had sugar coursing through me at 3 a.m. Therefore, by 3:15, I was up and in the craft room. It was either go and do some housework, not likely, or go to the craft room and play with this journal. So that's what I did. Because of the lighting in my craft room is so-so of an evening, for filming it's just not probably as bright as it could be. But once the morning sun starts coming in with the lights, it's just a little bit better. So I thought, oh, I'll just play in the journal. I'm gonna zone out. So I put on some videos, watched those, and just crafted away in the quiet. It was lovely, just lovely. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I thought I'd better turn this video on. This will be the last video for this series because I believe it's finished. So I'm really pleased with the way it's come together. I love it. I think it is so cute. I hope she likes it. Journaling will be something new for her. She has admired my work from a distance, so it will be really nice to spoil her with a journal. She's been a tremendous support to our family. She was pretty close to my mum who passed away. So it'd be really sweet to give her a little something. I was thinking about the box component, and I was actually thinking about sort of looking for some, that little guy. I was thinking about putting another little project in there for her, maybe a slow stitch piece. Just not sure. It's sort of rattling around in the back of my head that maybe if I piece something together, like piece it all together and do the invisible stitch so everything is held into position for her, and then all she's got to do is embellish and pop a few stranded cottons in there to sort of get her going. I'm not sure if she's into that type of thing. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that might be, I'm just looking for another couple journal cards that will fit. That deer is nice. Oh, I like that as well. I might just put, I keep cutting and pasting things here onto paper. I'm gonna glue both of these straight on, and then I can have them ready and back for the next project, whatever that may be. I definitely want to do another Christmas journal. I've got so much paper sitting here on my desk. So I think I will be doing another one. We've got plenty of time. It's still only early in December. I do have a lot of sewing projects I sort of want to work through as well. So we'll see. December is whatever Christmas I feel like making month. So bear with me as we flip-flop all over the place. But I'm really enjoying it because I've got, you know, options. So when I wake up at 3 in the morning, I can do whatever I want. I'm not tied to a project. Okay, where's my little, it'll give me some nice little bits and bobs to put into an envelope too. I just trim that a little. Is that okay? best one to do. I'm just not a lover of... Oh, it's pretty good. Just not a lover of... Or maybe I'll put some tags in. Not a lover of that or that. I might do this one. It'd be handy to have a few tags, and that paper matches some of the paper within the journal itself. So I'm thinking I might do that. Can't hurt. Won't need all of them, but I don't think I'll embellish the little pages inside. I think I'll leave them for whatever she wants to do. There we go. Concentrating. I think the big ones might be too big. Now, let's bring that back in. I really like that big one there. Let's just cut that. I'm going to wriggle my scissors as I go to give us a bit of a distinctive little edge. Really pleased with the way the box, journal on the box came together. I might create a hashtag journal on the box. And that way, if any of you have a go at making one, because I think I'll probably do more of those, because that was just a, you know, a little bit different for me, and do some other themes in the next year. So if any of you make a journal on a box, I will be able to just type that in and see your work if you're on YouTube. And of course, you know, we can easily find each other when we do such a project in the future. By having that hashtag, it sort of unites all of our videos together. So it'll be hashtag journal on a box. I'll put it in the description so that, yeah, we can find each other if a few of you like to have a go. I'd love to see your interpretation of it. I'd like to try one of those books that look like a book, but they open up, and attach a journal to one of those. That'd be a bit of fun. Okay, so here's some more bits and pieces of ephemera we can add to the project. I like that journal card to go in there. Little Santa. Where's those tags? I'll just do the little ones. I'll put some fibres. Now I could do with a little hole. Now, some eyelash yarn, my go-to. I like the variegated ones too. They sort of give it a little bit of interest. Where's the end? There it is. Now, if you find that your eyelash yarn is slipping out, I just put a dab of glue in there and it just holds it from slipping and sliding. Pop that in there, go back to the front. There we go. Lovely. That little guy in there, just as some little goodies. That little fellow could easily go in there. I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I'm not going to fiddle too much in the book itself. Maybe I will. Can't help myself. No, look, I'm going to leave it because it just, I take over the project. You just, whoops. Sometimes you just got to stop and let people play with their journals. And I often find that when I put a little journal in amongst a bigger one, is there a pocket in the front? That guy. When I put a little journal in, a bigger journal, I find they start in this first. It's like it's a safe space to play, and then they get their confidence up and yeah, proceed to move to the next challenge. So it's quite interesting how newbies, you know, play in their journals. I'm just picking up the box with the journal. Now I just want to get this sorted. Now I might keep them. Will I decal edge it? Yeah, I will, because that sort of makes it seem. No, I won't, because she won't have one of these rulers. So I'm going to straight cut it on my cutting board, which I don't have on camera. So sorry guys, you'll just have to bear with me while I slice this. That way she can use her scissors and just cut them out as she needs them. Some of them she may not want to use, that's fine. It's just really, I guess, to give her some suggestions. So it's a great idea. Adding them to a journal. Just want to trim this a little bit more. Sorry I'm not on camera guys, but my cutting board is huge. I need to get myself one of those little ones, but I don't know. It's just another thing. I probably don't need it. All right, now let's try and fold these so that they fit and they're not I might cut them actually. Make sure my sentences aren't cut. Some funny ones there. What would it like to live in a gingerbread house? Okay. All right. So that's the prompts. And as I said, I reduced them by 75%. So for this particular journal, they're just that little bit smaller. So I think they'll look a little bit better. So those can go in there. And I think we are done. So let's have a little look. So that little journal will fit in there. This little guy will tuck in the back there. Yeah, I love it. I think we're done. Other than adding the gift from Grace in there, the seed package for the villagers, I think we're pretty much done. Oh, I could do so much more, but you just got to be a bit careful. Excuse me. Yeah. Lovely, 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 lovely. And away it goes. Okay, guys. Now, the other thing I mentioned the other day was I wanted to use some of this chiffon as my tie. So I've cut a piece off. And I'm just going to use that to secure the journal. Hello, Fudge. How are you? There we go. Done. What do you think? I love it. I think that has come together beautifully. One Christmas present done. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is I finished the tag for the kids. Remember we were doing the envelope? I think it was a few videos back now. The envelope I finished, which I think you saw. All I had to do was finish the key, the Santa key. So the little house has been attached to that card that we prepared. Just with some glue stick. I then put a little tie, and I was concerned that the eyelet would not work because it felt so thick, but it did. I went hunting for the biggest one I could find, the deepest shank, and it worked beautifully. So everything's been embroidered, and key's been attached. It is ready to go. So that is gift number 2 for all of those kids. There's 3 kids in the family. That's ready to hang on their Christmas tree. And my journal. So there's 2 gifts done. Gee, that was great. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm just going to put that to one side. Now, what could we work on next? I really think I want to make a envelope journal. The one thing I didn't use is I didn't end up using this scrapbook page. I've had it for years, and it's got like a flocked embellished feel to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm wondering if I use that to start a envelope journal. the William Morris journal that we made. It's sort of really enjoyed that, and I would not mind making one. I'm just grabbing it. The William Morris, it's based on Leslie from 507 journals. She makes the flip-flop journal, and I really enjoyed the process of making this. Sort of, you do a full circle of it. So I'm thinking I might make one for Christmas, but I'm going to keep it myself because I'm thinking it's very much my style, and that way, you know, if I want to play in it, I can just pick it up at any time and just add pages. That's the beauty of this style of journal. If you want to add another concertina, you can. You know, it's just gives you so much freedom. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that, and then maybe I incorporate this paper in it as well. And I've dead set, I have got so much paper everywhere here. I think I'm going to start one. Whether you'll see it all on video, I do not know. We will see, because I have a few other projects in mind that I might want to do. So let's grab some envelopes. And I had this sitting aside because we didn't need it in that last journal. So I've got a few bits and pieces here. There's 3 envelopes. What's that? This piece of cardstock. There's some more envelopes. Oh look, there's one already prepared. Maybe I start with that. I must have done this. Yeah, okay. Now, if you remember rightly, the theory behind it, like I've even got post-it notes in there already of where you're stitching your journals. Okay. The theory behind it, it's a concertina, to break it down simply. So if I open this up a little, that's all it is. That envelope has been opened, so pretend that that's glued shut. Pretend that the next one's glued shut. This one's glued shut. Then this one is glued shut. So all it is that's a swinging envelope that's just there for the trick of it. All it is 1, 2, 3, 4 envelopes glued together in a concertina. So once you have your concertina, the folds is where pages go. So I'm going to let that stand there for a minute, and let's pretend that this is a cluster of papers. So cluster of papers would go in there. Oops, sorry. Cluster of papers would go into there. This little envelope, as I said, has just been glued on for something extra to play with. Cluster papers go in there. So that really is it. Now, the only other thing that I would add is when you've got your 4 envelopes, your main 4 glued together, open them all up. See how that one's open? Because it gives you opportunities that maybe that becomes, see, that was glued to there like that. That's 2 envelopes. This is going to be the cluster of papers. But at the end of the day, that could be an area where you have some ephemera for yourself. And then this gets glued back together once you get some pretty papers in there. Like, there's so many possibilities. The other thing I would say is that the game of it all, the trick to it all, is that as you work around the journal, so as you say this, where's the front? Let's start from the front. The front here is because it's got this little guy tucked in here and potentially a pocket to slide a tag into. So then in behind it, Could be some journal pages. And we've got a spine here that could easily handle some stitched in signatures. Once you open the journal, you are greeted by a journal. And then you flip this page, you're greeted by a second journal. You see what I mean? Then you flip this page and you're greeted by a third. But what I noticed with Leslie is the last journal is out here. Now, I didn't do that with the William Morris. So what I think she does, let's get a white envelope. And maybe one that doesn't have a window. Where are they? Have I got one without a window? Not really. Oh well. What I would say is she seems to... Gosh, we're going off on a tangent now. I'm going to open this envelope up because everything's got to be lined with paper. Otherwise, you're going to see your envelopes. So, open them up flat because they'll all get joined as needed when you need to. Now, what I will say is her last, I wonder if I can do it because I've glued that in there. I think I can. Or can I? Well, Leslie, on the very last page, she would stitch her pages into here, and then that would wrap up, then that would flip over. So there's like this journal at the very end that extends out here, and then it sort of encloses on itself into the actual book, and then when that closes, it's tucked into your stack, and then as you flip the journal over, you're back at the beginning again. Does that make sense? So yeah, just something to consider. You do not have to go as elaborate as this, by all means. You can certainly, you know, simplify it somewhat and just have 3 envelopes, and then the journal sort of sits within the journal a little bit tighter. So, you know, you could do, oh look, you can do so much with them. I don't know if I've made that as clear as mud. If you want to have a look at how I put my William Morris one together, maybe go back and have a look at that, because I did put a lot of thought into how I constructed it. So I'm going to use these 3. The reason is because I like the fact that they're already that neutral tone of envelope. So I'm going to open them up so that they're ready to go. Let's see what shape we get, and then we will construct. Oh, we've got something inside. Okay, I must have used some of these in the past, and I've cut a template that allows paper to sit nicely in that shape. Well, isn't that handy? Whether we'll need it or not, I don't know, but let's see. I don't know how much of this video we'll get done here with this, but we've got time. We've got about 15 minutes. I'm just going to fiddle around. I think I'd like another envelope. So I've opened them all up, and from this point we're going to start joining them together. Do I have another brown envelope? Looking. I can't seem to find one straight away. I may need to go further afoot, but that's okay. Yeah, so let's have a look at how we're going to do this. Oh gosh, I could spend hours fiddling with this. How am I going to do this? I want to have a tuck there. So I think that would work, but I really need some pretty paper in there. But is that going to be too hard to tuck into? Don't know. Don't know if I want to. Can you hear my brain thinking? I think that's at least a start. And I think that will work. Yeah, okay. Let's just do it. Let's put some glue down here. Now, I guess the other thing you've got to consider is you have room for pages to be stitched in. So you need to give yourself a bit of a gap so that you have a spine. I'm going to flip that so I can have a window there. Yep. So I've left 1/8 of an inch there to be a future spine. So to make it a little easier on myself, because I tend to lose my way a little bit with this flip-flop business, is I'm going to put a post-it note here which tells me that there is journal pages to go in there. That makes sense. Now I'm gonna, so it's not the right size. I need to find another envelope of this size. Who's that from? Hello Fresh. I don't have any of those, I don't think. I think my friend still gets Hello Fresh. She might be able to get me a brown envelope or two. And that's going to join in here. And the journal that's going out here can flip across, I think. We'll come back to that. Let's have a look at this front. Do we put that onto there? Yeah, I think we could. And that could be a journal going in there. So let's glue that one there. We want a little bit of a spine. Do we want it there or there? I don't think it really matters as long as there's something. Let's just put some glue down. It's a start anyway. At the end of the day, you can create whatever combination of envelopes you want. And who knows, we might head off in a completely different tangent. That's what happens, isn't it? It's just a case of throw some envelopes together. I don't think there's any brown guys there. There's this little guy. He might be of use. So we're pretty much just getting a big long piece of paper of all of these envelopes that's open. I'm going to remove that for now because I'm not convinced that that's the right spot, and I think it'll come down to how these envelopes all sort of come together. I think this little guy could go on the front there. The only thing is he's not the right colour, but it probably doesn't matter because he's going to be part of the, you know, the beginning of the process, because we're getting down in the size. So let's add him. Why not? He'll be covered in paper anyway, Christmas paper. Okay, let's bring that little fellow over. We'll give him a little bit of a spine as well, because we might want to put an itty bitty journal in the front. Okay, well that's a start. That's a start. So we could do something here, flip it open, and we can have a journal. Decision made. Then that flips over and we can have another journal. So where is my post-it notes? Decision made. Then it closes. Now you do have an opportunity to actually put the journal out here, and that would then fold over. So let's put it here in case I don't get another envelope. Maybe it goes here. If I can get another envelope, I might move it out to here, but at the moment let's get it as part of this, roll it in and sit on the back of everything. So this rolls all in, tucks in, finished, and it sort of sits underneath everything. So then when you then open this side, you have another journal, and because there's nothing stitched, that will work. So another journal goes there, or cluster of papers. Then when you're finished writing in that, you close it and you're back to the beginning. So that's how it goes. So you've got this little thing happening here. You flip it open, you're greeted by your first cluster of papers. So that's number one. Then you finished writing in there, you flip it over and you're greeted by this, which opens out to reveal journal number 2. Okay. Then that closes shut, you finish there, and then you close it again, and then you open it to journal number 3. Then you close it and you're back to the beginning. Does that make sense? Oh, in a crazy way it does. So what have I got here? I've got another envelope. I don't think I need that cardstock. Hi, Bandit. So I wonder if there's a little spot we could add another flip. Maybe I'll just hold my horses. Put that away for now until I know what's sort of happening. Now I've got a heap of papers here that were left over from a couple of projects. So maybe I'll cluster them together. Oh, they're not really the right size. Let's go back to the beginning. They're the right size for that. So 1, 2, 3. Let's just slide them into there because we know we want number 1 journal there. Then we flipped it over and we are starting the process of opening up to reveal number 2 journal. Now these papers aren't the right size, but we're just going to pop them there for now. Then you'd close it back up, open it again, and you've got number 3 journal. Once again, papers aren't the right size, but it gives us a bit of a feel for how it's going to come together. Yeah, there you go. That's the start of a Christmas flip-flop journal. I think the first stage I will do is just wrap all of those envelopes in all of this paper that I've got sitting here left over from the last journal. I'll just tilt my camera so you can see them all sitting there. So I'm going to pull all of them forward and just start rolling all of that paper through to make it very Christmassy. So yeah, that's the plan. I will remove these clusters for now. That'll give me a moment to potentially find, because none of them really fit anyway, so they're out. That will give me a chance to maybe have a hunt around and find another envelope. Having said that, that's three journal spots. Where'd my William Morris one get to? How many did we have in that? Let's have another little look. I did a little itty bitty, I did an envelope in there under that string. So the front became a bit of an ephemera area. Journal number 1. Journal number 2. An area where I had just some bits and pieces. Journal number 3, journal number 4, and then we're back to the beginning. So there's so much scope in these things. They're a lot of fun. So I'm just popping that back on the shelf. So, okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go hunting for some potential more envelopes that I can add into this. And yeah, just cover all of the envelopes with my pretty paper, and then I will reinforce all of the spines with some calico. I did that on the William Morris, and I'm pleased I did, because not only does it put texture through the whole thing, it just makes all this paper a little bit stronger. So once I get the Christmas through, I'll then come back and with strips of calico put all that through, and then it's a case of stitching some signatures and yeah, play. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. This will be my next, when I wake up in the morning at 3 a.m, play with little project, and it'll get rid of some of this paper that I've got everywhere. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye, and thanks for joining me. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up. That'd be lovely. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.